Hi dear viewers, this is Arash Kamoli with another session of the website programming course on the Python programming language and the Django framework. Again, as always, a very warm welcome from me. In the previous session, we worked with adding and removing the permissions to the group. Now we are going to check the permissions. It would be an easy thing to do in the view. Here in the view, let's see, I go to the panel view. This is the panel view. I want to check the dashboard and see if the user has a permission or not. Alright, let's check what is one of the permissions. I make a new permission and call it master user. Okay, I set it for the main app and I call it master user. I did it through the Django admin. I could do the same through the permissions on my admin page. There would be no difference between the two, master underline user. So we want to check if the user has the master underline user or not. The user has been imported, user group and permission. We need to import these. Okay, in the panel function we say perms equals permission dot objects dot filter. We get a filter based on user equals request dot user. Request dot user is the current user that is logged in right now. We got the permission. The permissions for the current user are received. And now using a foreign, we read these for I in perms. Okay, as we check the groups, we do a simple thing. We say perms at first equals 0, and here in the foreign, if I dot codename equals master underline user. If it equals master underline user, then what should it do? Perm equals 1. So what did I do? As I did with the group, so I define a variable equal to 0, and then I got the current user permissions, and using a foreign extracted each permission, and if codename equals the master underline user codename, then perm would equal 1, and then 1 in the manager 1. We get an error and add it to the panel, or else perm equals 0. It would give an error. Now I hit the dashboard button. Let's see here what happened. Okay, now I hit the panel again. It takes some time. It showed me access denied because my user does not have the master. Here I need to go in the users, the admin user that I have logged in with, and I give it the master user permission. Now if I refresh, I won't see that error again. So in order to check, we can do it with a very simple ring and check if the user has access or not. There are many ways through which we can do it. One of the simpler things is to set a foreign and check. We don't need to do more complicated things. Other stuff may have a more difficult build-up, but they would make things much more easier in the operation part of the work. We can check like this. You can try other ways, but this method is simple and useful. So up to here we checked in the view. The user needs to have the permissions, and now we are going to do the same in the template. Now that we are done with the view, I get the master page and the dashboard page. It is over here, this button. I set a condition here. I say if perms dot the first name, main dot the name of my permission, master the name of my permission. Okay, let's see, master underline user. That's right, master underline user. Okay, and if. Okay, that's it. Let's check now, dashboard. I refresh the page. Okay, still I can see the dashboard. Now I do something else. I delete master user and save, then refresh the panel. As you see, it gave me access, denied error in the view, but still I can see the dashboard here in the template. If you remember, we said if the user has the master user, should be able to see the dashboard, but I can see it still. Okay, I exit and enter with the second or the normal username. Let's do it. Let's enter with a normal username. Okay, did you notice what happened? When I enter with a second user, I receive an error, and I also can see the dashboard button. Now, what does that mean? The point here is that the permissions that we set using the command perm dot the name of our app, and then the name, consequently the name of permission in the template. If I go to the main admin, let's see, this command, as you see, I have no access, but I see the button, but I couldn't in the former one. The point here is that for the super user, this command is always active. That is, it doesn't work. Why? Because by default, the admin here is a super user, and it has a check in front of it, the super user check in the checkbox. And for the super user, all the permissions are set in template by default, and he can have access to all the parts of the panel by default. As you noticed, when we entered with a normal user, we couldn't see the dashboard, but now I can see it. But when I click, it gives me an error. This error is for the code that we set in the view, but the reason why we can see the dashboard is because our user is a super user. That is why we check both in template and in the view. So we check in the view so that no one would be able to enter using an old URL. So you need to be careful about this very subtle point that we are dealing with here. The super user would be able to see these sections even if you say it shouldn't in the view and in the template, and that's a fact, something you need to take into account. Your rules won't apply.